And if you're just joining us, welcome. We're here on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, and we're continuing to cover this season of Big Brother All-Stars number 22. It's Wednesday night. It's time to cover the veto reaction. But just moments ago, I have to lament my two co-hosts. Of course, Jaemeel Robinson. How you doing, Jaemeel?
Surviving.
And Jeff Mater, my brother.
Swell. How are you?
Well, I had to just watch you guys watch the Raptors lose in double overtime in their Game 7 against the Boston Celtics, and it still hurts, I'm sure. Just moments ago, it's fresh, it's raw. It's just like this episode of Big Brother tonight, and how it played out.
Yeah,
it was more like SmackDown.
It was like SmackDown. It wasn't it wasn't Monday Night Raw. It was Wednesday Night SmackDown.
It was like No Way Out.
It was more like Thursday Night Thunder. Perhaps. I don't know. It's
Thunder also aired on Wednesdays as well.
Yeah, Wednesday Night Thunder. Sometimes, it was extra long. Sometimes it was strange. We're talking about wrestling, but we're not. We're here to talk Big Brother All-Stars number 22. It's week 5. Christmas did not play the veto, even though it was looking really good in this episode. I felt like this was a tease. This was a big tease that Tyler was going to go up on the block. He was volunteering to go on the block. He went to Bailey and to Devon and said, I feel so bad. He had so much guilt about what? I'm not quite sure. But he was so guilty. He was like, I will go up in one of your plays. And Christmas was like, no, this is a numbers game. And someone needs to go now. And she's playing a different game than what Tyler is. He's getting so thin. He's emancipated, as Ian Terry said. Is that the right word? That's not the right word.
Emancipated means to be released from bondage. Emaciated. Is it emaciated?
Emaciated? Did Ian use the right word or not? We'll need to find out. But
I kind of trust in Ian. With the exception of his quote-unquote health.
Yeah, it's quite possible I got the word wrong there instead.
Emaciated?
Emaciated. That's the word there.
Now, yeah, okay. And this whole sequence with Tyler, it was, I think it was presented as like a mental health almost story that he was kind of like losing touch. But this won't be a popular opinion. I ain't buying it. I think Tyler is playing a popularity for the cameras game a little bit. I think he's playing the audience. I wasn't buying all his DRs. I might be a little harsh. It might be not a popular thing.
I think he wants to leave, and he was trying to leave with the best light on him possible. I think that's what was happening.
Mary says nope. But nope to who? What Jeff said or to what I said?
Well, to you, because I just said what I said, and it takes a few seconds for the comments to come through.
Mary's saying it's real. It was all real.
She's going to say double nope.
Double nope. We're both wrong.
We're both wrong. Jaemeel, what do you think? It's really...
I think that Tyler did want to leave, did want to she's saying yes to me, did want to leave the game.
What are you saying yep to me? I don't know.
No, never to you.
And he was looking for a way out, and he saw that he can also kind of do some work in terms of his relationship with Bailey and himself, and he went to Christmas and had that conversation.
Michael here is saying that POV tonight was almost set like a ready, set, whoa. And yeah, it was reminiscent of that. We had was it all female? It was all female competitors in this.
Because
video, right?
Ian was quote unquote sick.
Oh, you got a doctor's note, right?
Yeah.
And we're both right. We're all, hey, that's
me and Jaemeel.
Yeah.
He wants to leave, Dave.
Why am I definitely the one? Yeah, you think that Tyler? Okay, so you're Tyler is legit. He's falling apart.
He wants out of the game. He wants out of the game. He doesn't like that the show portrays him as this great manipulator, liar, and it's weighing on him. He's had enough. Like, he knows that that's the way he's playing the game, and that's the way it's going to be portrayed on the show, and that everybody's going to quote unquote hate him. Little does he know that we hate everybody else more than him.
I don't know.
So
He's high on my list. At least he was until this week.
he was joining this game with the idea that he was going to be playing with Casey, right? And when Casey wasn't there, his heart sank. And he tried to make the best of it, but it's weighing on him. He misses Angela. He doesn't want to be there come jury time where he's locked in. So if he was able to get out before jury, then he can at least still keep his stipend of going on the show in the first place and then going home, right? But now that he's locked in the jury, he has to be there. He can't self-evict. He tried, and production would not let him. Because if he did self-evict, then they would take his stipend away. They'd probably he might have to pay back his travel costs and hotel costs. Like, there's a lot of things that they could do. Like the stipend, for sure, they would take away and not pay him.
Oh yeah, for sure. They take to like make him pay back travel costs. That would be pretty. If they wanted to be petty with him, and they might be because he'll be trashing their season. So
exactly. So
and just trashing the game in general, or just trashing, his experiences or the production or whatever, So
yeah, and there's the whole Tyler angle of this tonight, and then there was also this whole thing with Bay and Day going up, right? And the optics of it, we talked about it on Sunday and a little bit on last Thursday. It's not great. I think that players like Nicole Franzel, Christmas, and I think Tyler, I would throw Tyler in here. They were playing damage control on that part of it, I think, largely in their confessionals and in what we were seeing in their conversations in the house tonight. So I wasn't I don't buy it. I think Christmas is a little bit more honest in her. She's like, no, it's not personal. I'm playing this game and da 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 da. But she's also, Christmas is almost like the split personality character to me. And Franzel is just kind of transparent in how, giving Davon the $5,000. Thoughts?
So, here's the fact of the matter is, and I might get some flack for this, I don't know, is that race aside, this is a move for their alliance, and it makes sense, right? Because out of David, Kevin, Bay and Day, you can kind of separate David and Kevin, because with David you can just throw something shiny in the water and he'll dive into the pool, right? And then you can work with Kevin, right? Bay and Day, it's a little bit different. Might be a little bit harder trying to maneuver between the two of them. So that's why you got to be a little bit more careful when you're handling the two of them. So breaking them up when clearly they're a pair makes sense.
Mary's just saying she's sick of this whole Christmas week. Yeah, we're with you.
It sucks, but it is if it was Memphis is probably going to put up Bay and Day and not lose a wink. Because
we thought we thought we would have put up David probably.
He might have. He probably would have. He probably would have put up Kevin and David, the exact same nomination. Is that who he put up the first time? And then someone won a veto, or no? Who did he put up? It was David and...
No, he put on David and Nicole.
Yeah, Franzel.
Right.
Or, sorry,
and then he won veto and Nicole left.
Right.
He's not going to put up David again, I don't think. And even if he did put up David, it would probably be David and Bailey. And then if one of them won veto, then it would have been Davon coming back up, right? That's what would have been. And that possibly could have been worse for optics. But regardless, it was... I understand the move. The move, for the most part, for their alliance makes sense. Sure, it sucks, it's boring, but it makes sense.
But what's Christmas's alliance? She said tonight that Tyler was her number one.
The Christmas committee.
Yeah.
Right. But who's in it? Who's in it?
So you have Memphis, you have Nicole, you have Danny, you have Tyler, you have Cody, and you have herself. That's it. So
okay. So why not put up Enzo, Ian, Kevin? There's a bunch of people not in that line.
You can't put up Enzo because Enzo is tied with Cody, and they know that. Ian is tied with Nicole, and they know that, right?
So then that's
So you
not an
only have-
alliance. That is not an alliance then that really works together. Christmas is acting like in this episode tonight. Well, Tyler's in our alliance, so if he's going and talking about us and blah 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 blah, but you won't put up this person because he's connected to that person. You won't put up this person because he's connected to this person. So what is this alliance? This alliance just seems to be like this, like kind of like Ian explained, this stupid octopus
Yeah.
that just swings its tentacles and it just decides, okay, it's Devon and Bailey's turn. Okay, next week it's Kevin and David. Okay, you know, like it just goes on and on.
That's how they were able to
yeah.
control the people, and they were able to control Devon and Bailey before until word got out about people gunning for them, right? So if like Ian isn't going to do anything because he thinks he's good, and he knows that he's Nicole's like number one, not really, but believes that, right? Enzo is in love with this Cody Tyler connection that they have, so he's always gonna kiss the ring for the most part. Whereas you have these couple of players. Christmas might not be included, but you have a couple players who kind of can shift where they need to, and everyone outside of the was it Venn diagram, right? Can be easily picked off until they can make their moves, but the core four are going to be protected. So it makes sense. It makes sense. It's boring as hell, but it makes sense.
Right.
That being said, Tyler did have his, you can say, moment of weakness, mental health, where he needed to leave. He wanted to leave. He wanted to leave, right? And he did what he needed to do to get into a position to break bread and also leave. What messed that up was Devon opening her mouth and causing that issue. I don't think she should have left laying dogs lie, right? And there's part of this that we have to just believe what is provided by production, because production took a lot of information out of our hands. The initial sequence where Christmas and Tyler were speaking was completely cut from feed, so no one actually knows what happened outside of what was shown during the show. Okay, and then also the follow-up conversation, right, that happened with Christmas and Tyler was also cut. So there could be more information that we're not aware of, right? But the facts provided both on feeds up to that point, plus what we see in the episode, leads me to believe that Bailey, already not trusting Tyler, could have been okay, right? She wasn't saying anything to my knowledge, right? But it was Day who kind of rubbed Christmas the wrong way, that she's like, I'm not doing this, all right? And put it in perspective for herself. And she's right. For Christmas, it makes sense. For us as viewers, it's garbage, right? And like, I'm not really that sympathetic at this point in terms of this timeline of the show. Like the stuff that is spoilers that Mary's probably going to talk about in a bit. I'm not talking about that. But up to this point, this whole situation, their performance in the Veto, right? That's all they're doing, right? All they're doing. Their situation, all they're doing.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Like, I agree with everything you said. It's I think in terms of like Christmas is maybe the most calculated in this in the people I sort of brought an example to, and I do agree that there's a strategy here, and it's methodical and it's boring, and it is what it is. But I think that the players are like Tyler is human, I think too, and I think and Frenzel and they're self-aware to kind of know. And they're experienced as well to know how they'll be perceived after this game, after the in the house, what people will say at them, what they'll have to read on their Twitters, and all that kind of stuff. That's all weighing on them. Especially Nicole, her job is social media influencer. That's her whole life. So she'll give $5,000 to Devon to sort of like
not a job.
Yeah.
It's not a job.
Like, well, what did you make of that? Was that the right strategic move for Frenzel to do that? Give her that $5,000 in that veto and take the punishment and wear the outfit.
No. She look. I'm usually believe in positive intent. I can't with Nicole. I can't with Nicole. One, do we know how much Nicole made as a returning winner? Did she get paid more money than everyone else?
I don't know the answer to that,
I
but
don't
I
know.
imagine she got
The answer-
at least a base.
The answer is probably.
On top of that, she loves being the center of attention and having a unitard. Look how she felt when Janelle had a unitard. She was like frothing at the mouth in terms of jealousy, right? Oh, she's
That's
not
her.
wearing it
She
right.
owns unitards. That
Okay.
was it. You're right. The genesis of the Janelle Frenzel feud
on the show.
on the show.
Yes. I thought like Davon would take the 5,000. Yes, but wasn't Davon saying that she wanted a unitard? That was the one thing she wanted with the safety suite as well. She did say that. I'm kind of
That was like
asking a
how she
rhetorical question.
rationalized it when she
I think she
did it.
also wanted it too.
Yeah, well, she didn't really say it in the DR. Like,
Yeah.
it was more for her to like make a bond because, and she said a couple times a night, like, I don't want to backdoor anybody. She basically wants to get Bailey out. She feels like Bailey is taken away from Davon because she wants Davon to be a number for her down the road.
Mhm.
Right. And that's why Bailey needs to go. So she's all on board with this plan. She goes along with these conversations like tonight where we saw, who was it? Yeah. Like a few people, Frenzel was there when she's like, yeah. And Danny, right. They were like, let's backdoor Tyler. And she's like, no, I'm not into that. Let's get rid of Bailey and Davon will stay. And then she'll be with me when there's like fewer and fewer people left.
Here's the deal. Here's how I would look at this game, and I know you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy, but if I'm Memphis, Enzo, Tyler, or Cody, and I win HOH, maybe not Cody, but any of those other three guys, I am putting up 2 girls regardless. You know, like, I don't even care if it's Christmas. I don't care if it's Danny. I don't care if it's Nicole. I'm putting up 2 girls. I'm going to dominate this house with all men because these girls now think that they're set. They think they're just going to keep coasting through this game now because now all the guys are going to eat each other. But if I'm a guy and I'm an Enzo, I'm going to make sure I get another girl out next week.
Are you saying you're worried about an all-girls alliance?
No. I would just get all the girls out at this point because I think they think now they're safe.
Mary, keep that in mind for spoiler time. Okay, just a FYI. Okay, continue. Sorry,
no, that's just what I think. Like, that's what I would do strategically. I know. Like I said, I know you guys are probably going to disagree with me, but I think Nicole now thinks nobody's going to take her out. And she's going to go to the end with whoever is able to win, and whoever gets to the end with Nicole wins the game because nobody's going to give Nicole the money again.
I think that you stay the course, honestly, because at this point, who's going to beat you in a challenge like 2 times, right? Who is there going to beat you?
Or
like,
Christmas. Why wouldn't you want to get
not even Christmas didn't even really win that competition. She won because Nicole threw it. I honestly believe Nicole threw that challenge.
Oh yeah, Nicole was a track and field star in high school. She could have easily won that challenge. I know Christmas is jacked too,
that.
But yeah,
she's jacked, but she's not like you see that first that run with Danny. She totally blew by Danny.
Nicole's but Nicole is also like she's purposely dressing a certain way in the house she's trying to be like this incognito person that's not really like putting on makeup and trying to look all pretty for the camera.
She's trying to be invisible. She's trying
to be invisible. She's trying to be like the super fan nerd player that's in the house. And she's like playing a role. And it's just like, it's so obvious to me. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I agree. That's what I've never really cared for her because she's always been sort of a caricature, this persona.
So she's taken over Nicole A's personality?
Yeah. and then she'll be Janelle next week. It'll just go on and on.
Yeah, she just absorbs their souls as she gets these people evicted. Bailey's will join to her next, and you'll see her
wearing extensions,
going crazy on somebody.
I want to see when she becomes Enzo.
Yeah, when she cuts Enzo's throat.
Yeah, meow. She's like, I want my cat Unitod. Meow meow.
Meow meow. That's been great. I love that. If the season goes that way, and all of a sudden Nicole Frenzel just absorbs the spirits of everybody evicted, and then she's just like multiple personalities.
She's like Ian. She's all like self-conscious and anxious, and is swinging on hammocks a lot for a whole week.
Yeah, like the episode 7 and 9, where she's just going from personality to personality.
Ian would have won this challenge. Ian would have won.
Ian's a pretty good runner, I believe, too, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they would have let him win over Nicole. Like, I don't think Nicole. I think if Nicole's a track and field star, she probably could have won that. She probably would have beat Ian.
But what I didn't understand is people played with no strategy. You don't have to be the first person to the bell. You just need to make sure you're not the
last. Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you think Danny's going to be able to beat you in a foot race? I don't think so. So I would stay on my heels and let someone else be the first person up all the time until you get to you keep that strategy until you possibly get to the final 3, and then you can kind of go all out, right? Because at the very least, you're not going to be stuck with really a punishment that often. You'll either get to 5,000 or you'll have the veto.
Can you explain to me what the math was about in this competition? It just seemed like
get to 13.
Yeah, but but what did that have to do with when they left their buzzers and their buttons? Like what did the math have to do with that?
Okay, so if the math is wrong and not 13, if you let go of your buzzer, it's considered a false start, and therefore you are eliminated.
You have to wait till it adds up. It's kind of like
I missed that part. I was watching the Raptor game, so
they do variations of this challenge in the past. Normally, it's like when the picture turns blue or something happens.
Yes, I remember those ones. I was just like, why? What's this math? And it's just like once that equation pops up, you can go at any time.
Once it just equals 13, as long as it or whatever.
Make sure you're not the last person.
They're gonna have to read the equation and then go. Right?
Yes.
So once that thing pops up, you can just go as long as it's 13.
Once it's 13, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you just need to be make sure you're not the last person. That's it.
Right. So, but Ian probably could have won that because he's good at math.
Yeah.
So that would have helped him.
But you understand my strategy. Just don't be the last person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Danny's eliminated.
Davon did this in the HOH. She did the same thing twice, back-to-back competitions. She jumped the gun and beat herself.
Yeah, okay, so we got to talk about Davon in this veto tonight because I think Bailey was out for early, right? Or Bailey went out? Davon went out first. And so Davon, okay, and I talk about it every week or every episode. I have her in the draft. I'm cheering for you, Davon, but I don't know how many more times I can watch Davon choke in a competition, and then there's always especially in the not the live airings, you get this sort of defeated Davon, this mad at herself, I can't believe it again. It's she's like the Leafs, right? Or maybe
Raptor. You were gonna say it, and it's true. It's true.
They won the championship last year.
It was the Raptors up until last year before they traded for Kawhi. You're right.
Before they had that one run and the greatest time ever in Raptors history, but
it is usually when it's a go.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in the competition. But
it just felt like the only person that had a strategy was Nicole in this competition.
Yeah, she seemed to understand how she wanted this to play out. She was thinking about it. You can tell she's always thinking. That's why she's a threat. I don't get how she's so innocuous. She's just well connected, and there's a lot of pre-gaming.
It's all pre-gamed. Yep.
This is a challenge that kind of people with alpha personalities are at a disadvantage because they want to be first when you don't need to be first. You just need to not be last. That's it. And when you can see that, that's when you get eliminated. That's why this challenge, if there was Tyler and Cody, right, or Enzo would get eliminated immediately, right? He would pounce on that anytime it got to 12 or got to 14. Right? Mm-hmm. You have to be patient. You have to be patient and just trust in your ability to be able to run that race. Because even if it's a false start, if you're not the first person, you're fine. Let the other person have the false start. The moment that someone lets go of their buzzer, right? You run as hell to that let go, and you run as hell. So that was my problem. I felt very frustrated in this competition that people didn't think it through. Every single competition, you should always look at it as, how do I work this? How do I work this? Don't just look at it at face value, because you're gonna lose, right? Hearing a perfect example, Zach Rance was talking about OTEV, right, and how he was able to win that, and he was able to win it because where he was positioned, he can look on the side and see where all the letters were. So he was already able to plan out exactly how he was going to approach things ahead of time, right? The other people didn't notice, right? Because they were too, like, they have blinders. You have to like think through the challenge and try to gamify it. As all Kazar gamified that rolling competition, right? He didn't just do one at a time. Like you try to you have chances. Take those chances, and the chances are, if you're smart, you have a better chance to win.
Yeah, no, agreed. Like, and that's why I think we're seeing some players not play so smart, and there's different types of intelligence, right?
Yes.
And yeah, like I think Franzel is a smarter player in some ways. She knows how to play these competitions. You can see the awareness in her eyes playing this tonight. Same with Christmas, but Christmas is just more of a straight on, like, I'm going to power through this, and that's, that works for her for the most part. In anything like athletic, although she is HOH because of it was a mental one that she kind of fell into.
Anybody could have won the competition, the Christmas one for HOH. Literally, you could have put anybody up there, stood, and Davon hits the wrong button.
But not anybody would have been in that position who got picked last. So Christmas did a good job.
It could have been Tyler, technically.
Yeah, if there hadn't been shot
true.
fired.
Like, a lot of that competition has to do with social standing.
Social standing. So that's what Christmas did well. She was at least socially enough in a good position that nobody wanted to pick her to go.
Yeah. Yep. That's pretty much why she won HOH.
Yeah. And also because Davon choked.
Yeah, Davon choked was the main story here.
Yeah. That's the A storyline there. So
okay, and the other storyline, of course, was this. Yeah, we talked about the Tyler thing. We talked about Franzel giving the $5,000 to Davon. We talked about this hope they gave us that Tyler might go up a couple times. And it was kind of all pulled away. There might be spoilers and things. I don't know yet. I don't know things. I know there's stuff. I hear things are going on, but I don't know what's really going on. So we're talking about just the episode tonight and what was portrayed in this particular episode. And it just left me really sort of unsatisfied. I don't know. Like, it just, like, it felt like you were saying that there's a lot not shown to us, that this whole Tyler wanting to leave has basically been left out. Right, he's depressed, but that's all they kind of really showed us, or he's sort of down. What else? Like, we saw Christmas was
David not using his power.
David not using his power.
That was probably the smartest thing he ever did.
We didn't really talk about this, but David. Okay, right after the nominations, at the beginning of the episode, David, when he came into the Bailey Day hug, right where they were, and he came in. That was awkward.
It was. It felt totally out of place.
Right. Also, what felt totally out of place was David hosting the veto competition. He was terrible. He was the worst host I've ever seen in Big Brother history host a competition. He was worse than anybody I've ever seen. He was like, "All right, ready, set, go," and it was just like, it was so boring.
Who's second worst?
I can't even think of somebody that
was a big
worse.
drop off now after David.
It was bad. It was a real bad hosting job. He had no energy whatsoever to be thought of. And I mean, the only person that, even Kaser, as like dull as Kaser can be, would have put more energy into that. Way more energy into that.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense for him not to use his power. It does. Right? Because
for sure
he's certainly going to see the block. And it'd be
really great if he's like the only option to go home and he uses that on himself. It'd be fantastic for him to be able to force the alliance to turn on itself.
Well, that's why, let's say that Bay goes home. Whatever. Bailey goes home.
Sure.
Next nominations are probably going to be Davon and
Kevin?
Davon and David, right? Because you want to keep Kevin in good graces. He's like, oh, I'm part of the cool kids that didn't pick me. If he pulls himself down, David, then Kevin's going to go up.
It depends who's the HOH. If it's Franzel, I don't think Davon's going up.
It's what the house wants. What is Davon going to do? Who's she going to go to?
She's gonna. Nicole will try to put Enzo up.
I
Nicole is not aligned with Enzo.
But Enzo is aligned with Cody.
I know, but that's gonna the straw is gonna break the camel's back at some point between the Enzo, Cody, Nicole triangle
Absolutely.
that's going on.
But they're gonna do that when there's nowhere else to turn.
Here's the question: who's the alpha between Franzel and Cody? Who's the
whole Dave? The whole season has been set up for Cody to win the game, and Nicole is like making sure it happens. And it's like,
Cody's not going to win.
You don't think? Well, I just think that was the pregame. That was the setup. Was to try to. I think, like from what I've been reading, seems like Derek had a lot to do with the pre-gaming.
Sure.
And that Cody was. He sniffed around a lot of people and made sure an alliance was good for Cody, my brother Cody.
My brother Cody.
And Cody literally has an alliance with everybody. No, like every time you bring up, oh, but he's friends with Cody or she's friends with Cody. Can't do that. Why do you think that is? Why is Cody so protected in this house?
Cody's going to go into double eviction. Mark my words.
Oh, so you're saying he's not so protected? You're disagreeing with Jeff's premise.
I think he's going to be gone second in the double eviction.
Who's going to cut him? Like Christmas? Somebody like that?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Christmas or Danny or Nicole or Enzo.
Christmas could do it. Yeah, Danny's capable of it. They're not. They're just more ruthless. I don't think that friendship's going to sway them.
And if you're Tyler, who are you going to stand beside? Are you going to stand beside Cody or are you going to stand beside Christmas? Who convinced you to stay?
I'd rather be out against Christmas if I was Tyler.
So why not? Why not?
Right. What if it's Memphis?
Oh yeah, is he on the show still?
Yeah.
Who's he aligned with again?
He sucks, by the way. He's terrible. I don't remember Memphis being this bad from when he played in season 10 or season 10. But man,
is he the GOAT of the season? Is he going to be like a final?
No,
two?
He's not going to be a GOAT.
No,
he's going to be the afterthought.
He'll be a final 5, and then he'll go.
He'll be afterthought. Like people are like, "Hey, who was the final 5?" And they're like, "Oh, main person, person who was close." Person who was super close but betrayed, and who's the 5th person? Yeah, that 5th person is Memphis.
So he's gonna go out like 5th from last, sort of. Thing?
Yeah.
He's gonna make a better paycheck than he thought he probably was going to if he, hadn't played ball with this. It seems like a pre-game preset alliance that is like dictating the entire game, which is nauseating to watch.
Right. In life, Memphis is a restaurant owner, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a mixologist when he first came in the house.
You went from mixology to cuisine. You went into the culinary arts. I see. And so I don't know. Maybe he's happy to get the stipend or whatever. I don't know. But
well, if the stipend is $40,000 to start, right? Plus, if you make jury, you have additional money. That is a pretty penny, even after taxes, to get like 20,000. 20,000,
Yeah, Memphis is the only runner-up in Big. Well, is one of the only Big Brother players, USA at least, runner-ups to never receive any jury votes.
And he wouldn't get one this year.
Even if he got to final 2, exactly.
Yeah,
they said
but they're not going to take him to final 2 though.
Somebody might throw him a vote just so they say, "Okay, I'm the one who's going to give you the vote." Or
Enzo, like if Enzo gets burned, Enzo would vote for him, I guess.
Who's going to get the woo vote from Taj? Woo,
woo. I don't know.
Who else is okay? Just anything else in this episode worth going into? I know we want to get into some spoilers and find out what's going on. Mary's just saying someone said, "Oh, what? We're not in spoilers yet. We can't." So. We're going to have to get into that.
Bring out the icicles.
I'm bringing. Are they icy? Oh, I was hoping for
some
fire.
They're icy. No fire.
All right. Hold on. Just
Doesn't
let me.
deserve fire.
Doesn't even deserve it. And just let's get the.
Like, I can't. Even though there's drama, I'm sorry. Like, the drama is not really going to affect the game whatsoever. So why do I even care about this drama?
Here is the spoiler warning.
That's a good spoiler one. You should be using that soundboard more often for stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was Rafu from Star Trek Insurrection.
Hit it with Mary's comment.
Okay, so Mary, yeah, I kind of jumped the gun here on Mary's comment. We are in the spoiler section. Someone said that they are making it out for a David win the game. Someone like with a bullhorn? Is that what she means? And I said, "The hell it is," she says. Oh.
Look, if this game was made for David to win, like
there wasn't a spoiler. It was on Facebook.
They would literally need to carry that man to to that final HOH and have like, we're gonna take all of your ballots, and they throw all of them away and put David instead, because David is not winning this thing. He's not getting to the end at all. They're not going to take him as a GOAT.
Okay, so Christmas and Danny were having a conversation about Devon, and Christmas said, personally, quote, personally, I would like to see her get to top 8 or top 7. How nice. Christmas, if one of our guys gets shot out, I would like her to not be in the committee, but top 6. If this doesn't prove my point that this is a preset, who's going to get to top 5 already, I don't know what is.
Okay, so there was an attempt to have an all-girls alliance.
This week?
Yeah, this week.
Okay.
With Christmas, Danny, Franzel, and Day. The stipulation was Bailey was not to be included. Right?
Yeah.
Well, how can she be? One of them's going, right?
Christmas.
No. This is before the.
Oh, before the veto.
This is before the veto, right? And they were like, this was not included on the show. They're like, do you think you'll be okay with it that Bailey's not included? And Davon's like, yeah, us to the end. And then later on, Davon went to Christmas and goes, hey, it'd be even better if we bring Bailey along, right? She can be like a loose fifth that we can keep, right? If you're Christmas and you already put the stipulation that you don't want Bailey to be in this alliance, how could you turn around and say, hey, it'd be great if we do what you didn't want to do in the first place? Why would Christmas agree to that, right? Already, and then
we might have the footage here. I might have the footage.
And at the same time, you have Danny. Was it Danny? I think ratted out the all girls alliance already to Tyler. So the all girls alliance,
Danny did,
I believe.
Yeah,
right?
Danny will rat anything out. They should not. I would not be one in the alliance with Danny.
They were all together, and they're like, "Let's name this alliance." And they didn't really get a concrete name. So before the thing was even like named, it was already outed already and ratted out. And we're not even talking about the fight yet. And seeing the precursor, you kind of understand Bailey was hot. So just imagine, I already stated that Bay and Day, especially Day, kind of did this to herself and to themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
They were going to that veto with the understanding that the veto was going to be played, right? Because there was no communication that it wasn't going to happen.
That's right.
So to see it turn around, they're thinking Bailey, who was already having second thoughts about Tyler, was like, Tyler broke his word. Christmas is two-faced, and they said we were going to get this done, right? I don't know if Bailey's has compared notes with Davon to find out that Davon kind of had a hand in it. We're not only seeing the hand in terms of saying, Bailey hasn't forgiven Tyler, right? But also this all-girl alliance thing with trying to include Bailey in the first place. If you're Christmas, you're like, she is her ride or die, and even though I'm trying to do an olive branch to kind of work with her, she's still holding on to Bailey. Right? So how can I move forward knowing that I'm never gonna be chosen.
Yes. It seemed to me a lot of it was like Bailey and Devon, I think, both thought that they were good going into that veto, like you said. And I think when they found out they weren't, and then Tyler and said all that stuff to them, they were like, "Oh, was this a plan to make us not try in that veto, or like not concentrate on the veto and thinking we were good?" I think they thought they were like bamboozled.
Bamboozle is such a great word.
It is a good word. Richard Hatt, what up?
Nice reference. That's good.
Go ahead.
I just think they got real mad, and that's why, like, at first they were like, "Oh, Tyler, we totally understand what you're saying," and then they were like, "Fuck Tyler," you know. And I think they turned hard on him in the show because they did. Did they even show the fight in the episode tonight? Like between
No, the fight's gonna be in next episode.
Next episode, right?
If they do have it.
When that happens, I think it's going to be explained on the show that they think that was like all set up that Tyler was doing. And that's why this whole controversy is going on, is whether or not he was genuine about wanting to leave, or was it a plan that Christmas set into motion or Tyler set into motion, you know. And then so Girls Alliance is out of the question if Bailey's still around, because Bailey will never trust Christmas if that's what she has in her head, I think. Whereas Devon seems more willing to kind of like go with the flow, kind of like, okay, well, that was messed up. All right, moving on. You know, like that's how I kind of see it.
Both of them are burned. Like,
I
don't know how could you work with either of them after what has happened, right? Bailey has, because of what happened, and she's missing that key information and how angry she is at Christmas. Your bridges are burned, basically. Devon, with what she pulled in terms of with the All Girls Alliance and trying to include Bailey, and also we're trying to tell Christmas that Bailey is still mad with Tyler. Like, once again, you showed where your loyalty lies, so you can't, like, you put her up. She's not gonna forgive and forget, right? So once again, how can you move forward with either of them? There isn't enough people to make an other side of the house, so you're going to work with some of the people that are your enemy, and these two can't. They are burned. They're done in this game completely.
I think you're right, but I think Bailey is more burnt right now, so she's going home first.
No, they want Bailey gone. So.
Yeah, she's done. But also Enzo was talking about Cody and Nicole to Devon. To Devon, and they were talking about, yo, she got a pregame alliance, with Cody, and it's like, so he knows that Cody and Nicole are together. So Enzo's kind of could be a wild card. He could turn things around, like, in a weird way.
Nicoletta here is just asking, it's so wrong. Nobody else is allowed to say something like that. About voting. Did
No, I think it's about what I said about Bailey and Devon. And I understand that tensions are extremely high. And I think I've been fair in terms of my perspective. Concerning Christmas, I'm not a fan of Christmas. I understand why one person would be, but I'm not a fan of Christmas. But with the cards on the table, in terms of the path that she's taken, she did what she felt was right in terms of for her alliance. Now, is that a winning play? Who knows? We'll see. I disagree, but the die is already cast in terms of the direction she was going, and that direction did not include Bailey and Devon. So
no, but it doesn't. It seems to include a whole bunch of people by proxy.
Yes,
and
yes.
I guess Bailey and Devon don't have those proxy of relationships that it seems like Ian does, or I don't know if Kevin or David have them. They don't, but they're just not. They're seen as lesser threats than Devon and Bailey. So I think that's why those two girls are getting targeted. And the whole thing is just like blowing up in the Big Alliance's face in a lot of ways on TV.
Yeah.
and it's just not looking good for them.
There was also another wall yeller who leaked information, I believe, concerning Nicole and Cody's relationship, and also that David has a special power as well.
Oh, okay. So they outed David on this too.
That he has a special power, yeah.
Why would the wall yellers if you're going to use your powers, use it against?
Yeah, say Danny's got it, and or Christmas has one. Don't
use it on David.
don't use it on David. David's the only hope in the
He's
house.
got enough problems without somebody coming in and interfering.
So let's all be realistic. If you were in the game, would you want a wall yeller kind of wrecking your position, your spot?
No, of course not.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I generally disagree with it, but I sometimes
in terms of the lulls, you want it.
I turn the other cheek, if you will, if it affects somebody I don't like or if it goes my way. So
It doesn't happen on Survivor, so that's a
No.
pro for that game over this game.
but if Cody's game tanks, or if Christmas or if Frenzel's game tank because of a
You're
wall
all the
yeller,
better. All the better.
I will not be like, this is a travesty. They were, even if they are wrong, but I'm not going to make a case of it. But if it was
slight detour,
yeah,
they had some Survivor talk, and David mentioned that it's day 39. They would be on their way home from Survivor from now, and then people had to explain how Survivor works to David, right? Because he didn't know, and also. They were asking who people's favorite players are, and I think Enzo said Boston Rob, and Danny said that she likes him too.
in Survivor.
Yeah,
right. So if this was a Survivor season, it'd be over already. Okay, that's
Well, yeah, but this is very Boston Rob, circa Redemption Island, circa All Stars. Boston Rob. The difference with Boston Rob between all these people is Boston Rob is really good at confessionals. He would be fantastic in the DR. He would explain everything that's going on in the house really well to us. He would make us like him at least a little bit. Some people hate him. I get that. But Boston Rob
Jaemeel has it.
is really good at explaining what's going on in the strategy of the house. This season is a train wreck of people explaining what's going on in the house to us.
because the people who have good DRs have no clue what's going on, and the people who are not good at the DRs are kind of selling us lies or have no clue.
Both. Yes, absolutely both. Mostly are selling us lies, though, for the most part. And other people are just not on the show. Memphis not on the show. Cody barely on the show. A lot of these people that are in these positions of just solidification power and nobody's ever coming after them, they're just not on the show, and it's all the other people, and it's just and they have no clue what's going on. This season's terrible, guys. I mean, it really is. It's unwatchable.
Jeff, after tomorrow, though, we'll have a new HOH. It might be a whole new game.
I
Did
hope.
we see that last week? Did we see that last season? Last episode? Last week?
We did, and it almost happened where Davon won the HOH, and everything would have been different a little bit. But now, at least everybody this week at least solidified to everybody in the house who's on where everybody lies in the house, at least a little more than last week or the week before, for sure. So I would say that it's more interesting now if somebody from the minority wins the HOH, because I think people definitely go after a big target now.
The minority.
Kevin's the only one. I don't think he will, because I think Kevin just doesn't have much in him to go after the cool kid.
Yes, because he doesn't know how to go against everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Kesar and Janelle tried to play that us versus them, and it didn't work. So he's trying to just fly under the radar, hope nobody notices him. And
He's
I don't
a pair.
know, but I don't know what his
pair.
He's a pair with who?
David.
Oh no, is that a pair?
With David.
That's a pair.
They got a power. They have a power together.
Oh no. It's not real.
If Kevin goes up, he would use the power to bring down Kevin. He would.
Yeah, Kevin.
So
Okay, but ugh.
Would David then be eligible to be put up in Kevin's spot?
Yes, that's why I agree with the fact that David didn't use this power tonight.
Yeah, because you use it when they put you up.
Yeah, use it on Devon. Yeah, you're going up. You're not. It doesn't protect
Yeah.
you like a veto does. So
If David is smart, what he should do, in all honesty, is make sure he wins next HOH. If he wins next HOH, he can, play his game and have like play really hard, and then next time, if he has enough bad blood, like no one's gonna waste a backdoor on David. So if they're gonna put him up and he's gonna use his power to disrupt and come down.
Mary's saying that Nicole Anthony told David not to trust Kevin.
David doesn't remember that. He might have 187 IQ, but he doesn't remember that.
Oh Lord.
He does not have 187 IQ.
That's what he said in the house.
But he was smart not to use this particular power to save Devon or Bailey.
He thought he has a 128 IQ. Well, he was 187. Sorry, IQ. He's like, where did you see it? Oh, I saw it on my stove. That was the answer. Okay, I love it. That's where he saw the 187. Oh my gosh!
It was probably 1:57, and the light was broken.
What does it know? He did it can up this week. What does that mean?
No, it didn't. No, he has 3 weeks. So doesn't he? This week counts as 1 week. Next week, and the week after. So if he wins HOH this upcoming week,
up to this week. Okay, I see.
Yeah. It'll be really good for him if he won HOH this week.
Yeah,
coming up,
because it'll be 2 weeks before they can go after him. Now, you would feel a lot better if he was like a comp threat or had good social skills. No. Like, when do you think is double eviction? Honestly,
I thought it was going to be. I think they either do one right when jury starts, which seems like next week, or they'll wait until 2 weeks from now.
This is the week before jury. Jury starts next week.
I know. So they either do it right on the first week of the jury, or they will do it like they'll just put 2 people on the jury right away. Or
no.
You don't think they will? Because sometimes they do that because they don't want people to be alone. Or are they all going to be alone anyway? Though, and like they're not going to go hang out in the jury house together, are they?
Yeah, they are.
They are.
Like, there's usually one person, right? One person, and then they do the double.
No worries, Mary. She's apologizing for the early.
They usually do. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know what they did in the last All Stars, but because they preferential treatment to the All Stars, right? They're like, I don't want to be alone for a whole week,
Okay, who would you rather be a jury member? Would you rather Bailey be a jury member or Devon?
Oh, I think everybody would rather Devon. That's in the Powerful Alliance.
No, I would rather Bailey.
Well, why?
Because that means you're keeping Bailey on the show longer, right? And she is tend to start fights, right?
Yeah,
she's more likely to give an epic jury speech.
And you don't like. At least Devon is a little bit more malleable in terms of like your moves. Who would you like in the jury house? Bay, right? I'm not sure. What was your question?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, who do you want as a juror? Because I don't like. I think I agree with you that they're both burned. I don't think either of them are going to win, or they can't go deep in this game likely, unless like a whole bunch of crazy things were to happen.
Who's following them? Who's going to be following them? Ian's going to be rational, right? And regardless of what Bailey says, Ian's going to have his own line of thinking. Enzo's not going to be listening to Bay. Kevin hasn't listened to her at all. David could be swayed, so that's 2 votes, right? Like, I don't think you have that much to worry in terms of her influence because everyone else, for the most part, you think if Danny gets eliminated early, Bailey's going to swear to pick whoever Bailey wants? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think right now they're also just going based on who they want to potentially be in that jury house with, or who they want to be with for another. I guess it's another 40 days, right? That this is going to go on beyond this point. We're only at the halfway point.
Yeah.
Not even.
Yeah. So yeah, at 1 p.m. today, though, like I was saying before, like Enzo is pushing that Danny and Nicole are not his allies, and that Devon says that Cody has to go, points at Enzo and tells him he's not taking Enzo, he's taking Nicole to the final. Talking about Cody.
Cody
And
said it to who?
Devon said that to Enzo, that Cody is going to take Nicole and not you.
Oh, okay, and that may be true. Oh, by the way, who's going tomorrow? Is it Bailey almost certainly, or that Devon?
Bailey's going.
Bailey's going.
It's definitely Bailey going.
That's what Christmas said to Devon, and the other people have been telling Bailey like we have the votes to protect you, but I don't think they do.
No.
Yeah. Well, Devon may vote for Nicole at the end, also because she gave her $5,000 tonight. Just I want to reinforce that. And
Yeah, I think
Nicolita doesn't care.
You know why she gave her the $5,000, right?
Sure.
They both.
They're both salty. I like that. Yeah.
You know why she gave her the $5,000? It's because Nicole optics, and Nicole gave her the money in her season she won. So that was her payback. She said it earlier in the season. Oh, I just want to do something to pay her back, and she did. She literally $5,000 paid her back.
Because remember, she never thanked her after the season, though.
Yeah. So that was a gesture from Nicole to say thank you for giving me the money. That's what that was.
Because technically, she would have had if she was following how people traditionally played that type of game with the pick'em challenge. Bailey would have gotten the money, and Devon would have gotten the punishment because she would have went for the veto first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the veto would have been taken away from her, which would have been actually no. Nicole would have had the punishment, right?
Right. Devon would have had the punishment.
Because Christmas had the punishment and took it the veto from Bailey,
right,
and gave her the punishment.
Yeah.
So Nicole would end up with the punishment. So
she knew she was going to get the punishment anyway. So,
well, how many punishments were doled out at that time?
No, but Nicole came second, right? So Christmas would have had to choose
the
between
unitard.
the
Sorry, only the unitard.
No, there was the one where you had to ride the bicycle.
No, that was the one that Christmas pulled and gave it to Bailey.
Right. That was a
Right?
punishment.
Yeah, but that was the last punishment. So only one punishment, which was the unitard, was already handed out at that moment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see where jury goes. Are you guys?
No.
We'll see. No. All right, let's. Is there any more spoilers that you wanted to cover, or is it?
Not really. I mean,
I think we're going to talk about the fight tomorrow. So
talk about the fight tomorrow. You'll see it
in more detail.
I'm ready for this fight. I tried to watch a little bit of a clip of it, but it wasn't very good quality. It was like somebody taping their TV to the phone. It didn't really work. So, but I will be checking that out. I hope they do show it on the show, because if you're gonna have some drama, you ought as well show it on the show. What's the point not to?
They're going to edit it down. It's going to be a bad look for all the people involved.
Why? Why do that?
Why?
Maybe I don't want to open a can of worms here, but it's.
I think it honestly, everyone looks bad. Everyone looks bad. From what I saw, Bay and Day feel like the microaggressions have been too much, and they're letting know their displeasure. They got burned, and they're salty about it. At the same time, Christmas isn't doing any favors with some of the things that she's saying as well. She's also feeling very defensive because from her perspective, she did a proper game move, which technically she did. But there's also other elements at play where she has to understand the situation as well. Like Christmas later on, from what I last read, you know what? We're going to talk about it tomorrow. If you want to see my thoughts about it, listen tomorrow. Watch us tomorrow.
I'm curious. It feels like it's going to be a big event in this season. I hope it is. Because if something big happens on the feeds, I think it has to in some way be on the show. Because that's why we kind of watch the show.
They've covered up things before.
Yeah.
They have covered up things before. They do it to protect usually their show's image, ratings, or maybe a particular person. But
the ratings are tanking. Ratings are tanking.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because it's right now. This is not great gameplay. Like, it's not fun to watch. It's too methodical and it's too predictable. And we need to get something.
Honestly,
more fun
if let's say the Masked Singer comes out in like Not the Masked Singer. Sorry, never mind. Once again, tomorrow.
The Masked Singer-
Tomorrow we will be back here 9:30 tomorrow night to talk about the eviction episode where we're expecting Bailey to go, but who knows? They're still a day away, and anything can happen.
A day away. Look at you with that.
It's only
clever
a
wordplay.
day or a bay away, and and somebody will be standing on that or sitting on that stage with a mask on, talking to Julie from 10 feet away about why they went, as they watch emotional goodbye messages, and we can't read their face. So who can't be ready for that? And we'll be here to cover and break all that down. I expect we might get another HOH on air. They seem to be, that's what the trend has been so far. We have not had an off-air HOH award or like a Sunday night reveal. So we
with
expect to
the
find
exception
out
of the Enzo one. Enzo one wasn't shown on feeds.
Right. That's right. Yes. But it was kind of, that was the one exception. So yes, it has happened.
And a lot of people believe that the one coming up this week is going to be the endurance wall.
Okay. And Frenzel would be a very likely candidate to win that.
Well, it will protect her from if Davon comes after her from her perspective.
Christmas maybe, but Christmas is bigger, and I think not likely to outlast Frenzel on that wall.
She's not playing.
Christmas can't go. She's HOH. What am I thinking?
Yeah,
right. And I don't think it's Danny's competition either. But we'll see.
Unless someone uses their power to allow Christmas to go up again as a HOH.
Oh, right. That could happen. Oh, I sure hope that. We may have to skip a week if we have another HOH Christmas week. I can't handle this.
No, but I believe Nicole in our comments says she's a Christmas stan. She's already has the Christmas lights up. She's writing her Christmas cards. I hope you win. She's pulling for Christmas. So this might be, Christmas in September for you, Nicole.
Oh, I am not a fan of any of these people.
1978. No, I don't think so.
All right. And we'll be back also on Sunday to talk about Big Brother. Also on our other channels, we have our Star Trek channel, Live Long and Podcast, where we talk about Star Trek multi-times a week, including tonight. We had original series. We talked about the original series episode Arena, where Kirk fought the Gorn. Tuesday nights, we do Deep Space Nine rewatches, the three of us here, often Kevin and Ashley Millard as well, and we're just into the second season. Tomorrow night, we will also be doing Star Trek Lower Decks, the 6th episode, right after we cover the eviction / hopefully HOH, live HOH. So check that out if you want to see any of that. And this Saturday, we will be doing Star Trek Radio Theater, where we will read a Star Trek script on air with some sound effects. And that will be a Voyager episode from the 7th season called Inside Man, which featured Lieutenant Reginald Barclay and Deanna Troi from Next Generation. And a bunch of other fun characters. So check all that out. Trivial Debates is our other channel where we do a monthly debate show, music, sports, TV, and more. We have our upcoming monthly Battle Royale. It's going to be a triple threat tag team match. Me and Jeff versus Chris and Jaemeel versus Jody and Kevin, with Ashley Millard being the judge. It's going to be something. So check out all those channels, check out all our content, and we're here all the time. So we always like getting comments, and make sure to subscribe and tell your friends. We love the interaction, and let us know your opinions. We'd like to kind of see how you guys are thinking about any and all of what I just mentioned. So thanks, Jaemeel. Thanks, Jeff.